Hello and welcome. This is your GM in the Great Barrier, and broadcasting from the center of your entertainment galaxy. We are back tonight with Star Trek Adventures Broken Sword, and tonight's episode would be Qulpu, juHDaq, yIleH. Roughly translated to home fires for those who don't bother with the Klingon. But yeah, we are coming back for another new adventure, and we're just going to get things going here. One quick shout out. We are running on slightly reduced crew tonight, but I always like to acknowledge our good friend, one Joe of the Overland Gamer podcast. He has that podcast. He has a Twitch channel. Definitely check him out. He is a man of many talents. And he is now the new executive officer of the crew, as we'll get into it the shout out. Or we'll get into it the quick recap. But yeah, as it looks as though he's been playing some Everspace recently, so check him out by all means. But yeah. Other than that, I think that, yeah, we're otherwise all set to go. So let's just get right into this. When last we left off, the Jan has finally made it back out into space. You've escaped Zethlor, the treacherous colony world on the frontiers of the Klingon Empire and fringes of the Orion borderlands. Your mission, after having lost a good number of the crew, some who simply did not survive, the likes of Dakoth and Bahan, and others who remain missing at present, particularly your armory officer Woe. The same had been true of the captain, but he had mysteriously reappeared, and his reappearance allowed the ship to take off. In conversation with the rest of the crew, you've learned that he had been held captive. He had been indeed kidnapped over the course of a battle, something that seems to have interrupted the one that killed Dakoth. And while he has been playing it mum on the circumstances of that, he has acknowledged at least one complaint. Captain Tabak decided that in order to avert a situation such as where you were stuck last time, caught on the ground with no power to systems and his security interlocks preventing anything from working, he left it to the crew to elect a first officer, which, after much deliberation and pondering between a few names among the crew, you decided to nominate the Helm Officer, Azek Korg, an old Hemhoch Klingon, that of the more traditional Next Generation era. So Azek has assumed that role, in service to the captain, but to represent your voice, and to serve as a good officer, hopefully bringing his many years of experience to the role and helping things function that much more smoothly. Otherwise, the other main events are that Tabak, having taken information provided by Dr. Kresick, has put out feelers with a contact in the Orion Communications Network, the Rivage Chalor, specifically trying to find out who has been hunting for the ship, for himself, for Raldar, and who successfully hunted your erstwhile Kzinti shipmate Woe. Until then, it's been decided that you should proceed back to a home port, one more friendly than Zethlor. And it was then that Tabak declared that the ship would be heading home. So that is where we will start off. First, with the ship moving along at warp speed, presently soaring. It's been some days, probably a bit longer, since you've set off, and I would like to ask first and foremost, would anyone like any particular scene right now?
eventually I'll want a cleaning out the sick bay, the medical bay scene, but it doesn't have to be right now.
Indeed. Well,
I was going to need a scene with Azek, but as he is not here, we'll do that in flashback.
yes. Quick checks, just to know let's see, Raldar Traven scenes for either of you?
I'll probably just be cleaning.
I think I'm good.
I see. Well, with cast on hand then, I think Doctor, sick bay is due for some spring cleaning. So,
It is a bit messy.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Who's cleaning sick bay with me?
Well,
I certainly hope you're not looking at the captain.
I'm not looking at anybody. I can't see anybody.
You say you're not, but I know you're looking at me.
No. I don't know. Maybe Kel Shaw decided to help. I don't know. Maybe Bahan's ghost is like helping clean up his body parts. Paranormal phenomena. Oh wait, never mind. I got rid of that.
No.
See,
No.
even the system said so.
I cannot wait.
No ghosts, no gods, no ghosts, no gods. Okay.
Look, Traven's already in the scene with me. Oh, it would be
that's
rude not to use
right.
him. It would be rude not to use him, wouldn't it?
You're not cooking, brother.
I will ask if... Oh, there's corpses. Oh, dear.
There's still corpses in there, yes.
Well, it's more the question of cooking. I think Dara might be eating heartily tonight. Okay, well, let's see. I will reserve the right. I will allow Cheesy to reserve the right for Traven not to be in the scene if he doesn't want to be on corpse duty. That said,
No, I'm perfectly fine with it. I'm the chef. I gotta feed the crew.
Oh, okay. Would anyone else like to be here for this horror show?
Sorry, I have a day job.
Yes, Raldar does work for a living.
Wow. Are you saying that I don't work for a living?
That's how you get glass.
No, you work for the living.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, but this is already part of that living, so you know.
Yeah, whatever.
You're looking for people who aren't.
Soft skin going, whatever.
Oh, we'll see about that, motherfucker.
One day we'll get our fight.
One day we'll get our bit.
Yep. Kresic will try to approach him with the honorable, slow form, and then, Raldar's just gonna start throwing quick haymakers.
No, Cressic's gonna wait till his back is turned and then break his neck.
I mean,
No. It wasn't on purpose. I was trying to put you to sleep. It's not my fault you're so squishy.
You put me to sleep forever. You did it.
It worked, didn't it? And you didn't die. Anyways.
Yeah. So.
Sick bay.
Yes. You find doctor. You are in sick bay with 2 corpses out of what might have been technically considered 2 patients. So not the best marks on your record here. I mean, one of them was intentional, but we don't talk about that. In any case, whether it's the 2 bodies of lost crewmen, one loyal to the end, the other a turncoat who didn't have the sense to save himself, or perhaps it's with the man who, in the focus of your task, you very nearly the 3rd crew member that you lost. Or maybe even the errant thoughts of the one who isn't dead as far as you know, but is beyond your capacity to help right now. She has vanished with no leads at present. But it is a particularly grim day in the sickbay with only Traven to keep you company.
The bio bed where Bahan is at is just an absolute mess. There is medical equipment scattered around. There is blood and other matters that you see just everywhere. But Kressig isn't even focusing on that right now. Well, first thing he's going to do is he's going to head over to Dekoth's body. And he's going to eat him. No, just kidding. And he lumbers over there, turns to Traven. I need you to prepare the pod that we had you in. I will need his body intact.
Which his body? Dakoth's?
Yes.
Okay. Because I don't think I don't think Bahan's gonna be okay.
He doesn't answer that. And he starts just like taking off any weapons or anything else that Dakoth might have on him, and putting it to the side and prepping to load him into the stasis pod that you were loaded in once.
Are you gonna try and save him?
He is gone. But his cells, his flesh, can still be used for something more.
Are you gonna clone him?
No. It is too late for that. But my work will not be stopped.
Kind of on the verge of desecrating the dead, isn't it?
You pretend to be Klingon, no?
I've come to learn I'm my own thing.
Good. But Klingons do not care about their dead's bodies. Is it desecration then?
I don't know. I didn't think I'd come up to this moral dilemma today. Alright, I mean...
This
I
body
can't stop you.
can help save lives, can help bring back order into a world fractured and divided if I can just keep it from degrading any further. I need your help with this.
Well, I have one arm, but I will do my best.
He doesn't need you to help move the body. He's just going to need you to help set up the stasis pod.
Gotcha. What
The
buttons
sciencey
do I
side
push?
of things. He's strong enough. He can move a body.
Okay. Well, I could do the sciencey stuff.
Traven, how about you give us the first roll of the session? And Kressik, you may assist with this as well.
Excellent.
Yes, yes. You are both quite acquainted with the pod at this point, and Traven, although you're pivot a bit more into the sciences is still a work in progress, you at least understand enough of the basics to be able to help the doctor achieve his task. So, I will give you a difficulty 1, control plus science roll in order to properly calibrate the pod.
Question.
Yes.
I'm going to pitch something to you. It doesn't really matter. It's just more of a story-wise thing. I'm kind of trusting Traven to set up the pod, and so I'm wondering if I could use fitness and science, because I'm now trying to load the body in properly.
I would accept that. I would
Like, it's still the same values, but just from a narrative side of things.
Yes, I would have just as easily given you medicine as a discipline there.
I'll stick with science.
Very well. He is more specimen than patient at this point.
And none of my focuses would apply. No.
Okay. So, between Traven's roll and your own, that will be 2 successes on the dice there. So, that will give you what you need in order to... that'll give you what you need in order to succeed.
And 2 more momentum, right?
Correct. Who would like to be the designated momentum officer?
Fastest hands in the West.
I'll hold it.
Oh.
Okay. I do think Traven...
Are we going to take it away from Traven? Yes, take it away from Traven.
How do I take it away?
He loses momentum. Spend it.
Drop it. Make yourself feel... create an advantage that makes yourself feel better, but doesn't actually materially help or change the narrative.
Oh, that's what I do like all the time.
Yeah, you just do that by existing. Sorry.
Let's see. Excuse me. All right, so, with that, Kresic, Traven is very quickly and ably setting up the pod such that you can load the late Dakoth into the pod in order to preserve him for whatever later utility he will be. Would you want to describe the manner in which you set him into the pod?
Feet first.
Very good. All right. Set him in. Get the stick to jam him down just a little bit, and
so that he's in the liquid, completely submerged.
Yes. There's actually no liquid in the pod.
There is now. Just kidding. It's actually a fish tank, and these are my piranhas.
Put in.
I was going to guess what you were really getting Traven's help because it was a marinade.
No.
No. God.
I need all of this ridgeless Klingon flesh for my experiments.
Yes.
It's a lot. I can go really far with this without having to ask for donations.
Yes.
Did you close the smoker?
As I set it to 350 for 12 hours.
No, 200. You only want it. You want it less than 200.
You're
Low
right.
and slow. That is the tempo.
Low and slow.
Yes.
With some MSG, the king of flavor.
And it's good for you too.
Anyways, let's load him in to the stasis pod.
Indeed.
And
a packet. Don't forget the packet of Hidden Valley
Hidden Valley
Ranch
and the
seasoning.
block of cream cheese.
And the
Don't
ranch
worry.
seasoning. Yeah.
Yep. Block of cream cheese, some garlic. We carefully and while not reverently, because
But deliberately.
yes, deliberately and respectfully. Like I'm not just like throwing him into this thing. Get him in there. Close the door/lid. Because I don't remember how these opened, if they were doors or lids. And activate it.
Yeah.
And thankfully, it does not have to be on as strong a setting as it was to try and keep Traven alive. So it shouldn't be draining anything from the ship's power supplies.
Indeed. It is active on economy mode.
Yeah, it's just on preservative, not on keep alive-ative.
Yep. Yep. The
I thought you didn't cook with preservatives. I'm sorry. I'll shut up.
Okay. Careful there, my friend.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
I'm stopping now.
Okay. So once that's done, and that's taken care of, question: this is a very random question. Would a Klingon medical facility have an incinerator for bodies? For our lore experts.
No, they would just get.
What would
rid
they
of
do
it.
with it? How would they get rid of bodies, Mr. Lore Expert? Because I'm not 100% sure.
imagine that just be out
Put
the
it in the
airlock.
waste bin. No,
Okay.
there's a waste. There's a waste tank.
Yeah, there would be.
But
poop needs to
the
go
waste
somewhere.
tank is but the waste tank is typically just dumped into space
Yeah.
anyway. Because even in the next gen era, they don't have replicators really on board Klingon ships.
Yeah.
Because they prefer their food live.
Mm-hmm. I just wanted to know if there was any particular Klingon body disposal methods that you might have known of.
Throw it in the disposal tank, and eventually it'll get dumped.
Okay.
Yeah, you are probably vaguely aware that. Excuse me, guys.
Get some relationship points with Dar. Give him a gift.
Yeah, you are vaguely aware that I think at the very least last time Raldar might have talked about the idea. There was talk in the meeting, though it happened before you arrived. I remember now. That of actually serving up the Noskin corpse. Whether Traven brings that up because he was present for that part of the meeting, I'll leave that up to you, Cheesy.
So I return back over to where Bahan's corpse is and start trying to clean things up as best as I can.
If I walk over and help you, are you going to snap my neck again?
Do you say that out loud?
Yes.
Will you get in my way?
Nope. Pretty good at cleaning and staying out of people's way. Best thing about being a chef.
Then I do not see any problem in your assistance. And I gather up all of the medical equipment that you see around. Mostly, it's Gorn medical equipment, so it's not the most humane looking of equipment, but it's effective for what it's supposed to do. And I gather it all up and hold it in my hands, and then I just start breaking them one by one.
Any electrical equipment among that crackles and sputters as power cells crack and the circuitry ruptures. Each one you feel, and Traven, you hear the steady cracking of of the materials that get built. Some of these are harder to get through than others, but are still take some time, even with Kressik's considerable strength. But sure enough, he finds ways to cause the equipment to give way and steadily rips them piece by piece. Some of the more delicate equipment, I imagine, would be pretty easy to crush.
I would imagine so.
Do you
I think that
have
description
more
of
implements?
What did you say?
Do you have more implements, or did you just break all your medical equipment?
I have more. Enough.
You okay? I don't think people ask that enough on this crew. Are you okay?
These tools should save life. They have failed in their purpose. They should not be used again.
Good talk.
He finishes breaking them all down. Kind of sets them in the sheet that's covering up Bahan's body, wraps it up a little bit. Is there a disposal for waste here?
There's two.
Two?
There's one on the yep. There's one on the ship where we just kind of ejected into space, I think. And then there's the second one, Dar.
Nausicaan flesh is repulsive.
I don't think he's picky.
I would know. I've bit one's throat out, you know.
You have a thing with necks, don't you?
You were just at the wrong height at the wrong time.
And I will never let you live it down. Shows how much I care for you.
He was never heard from again.
So, dealer's choice. Where do you want to put him?
You are a chef. Would you feed your crew vile foods?
I would not. No.
Then I believe that answers our decision.
Put it in the captain's food as a joke.
He does not respond to that. He's not even really paying attention to you at that point, as he is just staring back down at the body and then starts to hoist it up.
Is there another sheet around the med bay?
There should be.
Yeah, multiple.
Doc, let's wrap it. Probably not best to have it on your shoulder like it is.
Why not?
Disgusting.
it leaks.
It oozes.
Although Bahan has been dead for some hours at this point, if not close, actually probably closing on at least a couple days, he like the blood has not completely congealed, and from time to time you do find globs coming out of a few open sites, anything that you might have missed from if you bothered to suture anything back up just to contain it. Not like anything internal, of course, just more keeping it in the flesh so that he didn't make more of a mess than he already did.
I mean, I cleaned the ship, Doc.
True. and I do like this place to be clean.
Hard when everything looks like it does.
What is that supposed to mean?
Well, the whole plates are brown. What color does blood turn into when it's dry?
Yes, but you can still smell it.
No, I can't.
Maybe we should fix that.
Both mortified and intrigued at the same time.
Grab another sheet. Fine.
Thank
My
you.
baby can't smell blood from a mile away.
So, you grab the sheet. You begin dragging. You begin getting the Nausicaa now more easily contained and dragged off into the towards the refuse, where you will dispose of this decidedly spoiled ingredient. But
It's
for
officially canon. Nausicaa tastes disgusting to Gorn.
yes, that is functionally Broken Sword canon, and across all the other games, such as that will be relevant.
Hey, if it ever comes up in Aegis, just make sure we get our shout out.
I'll do that. Who knows? Maybe you can mention it yourself if we ever cross over. Oh, won't that be a thought?
Dude, it's gonna be in Ryza.
Little baby Kresic at what, 20 years old?
Yeah. Anyway, so as time elapses, let's see, just getting my bearings here. Okay. Some time elapses. The ship comes out of warp, and from elsewhere in the ship, Captain, you get the. Well, I'm actually going to say Azek decides to just punch up the ship wide, so all of you will hear. Captain, we're arriving at the coordinates here. I've got the course plotted in for Mektor.
Mick.
Have you gotten clearance from the spaceport?
No, we're still about 3 million Kelichems out, so I'm having Vopri patching a channel right now. But we're proceeding on impulse. We should have clearance by the time we get into orbit.
Estimated time of arrival?
Oh, you're making me do the math today, sir. And normally I could, but I accidentally got the intermix of this new Ractigino stuff. I tried pairing it with the blood wine, and it's
God.
it's playing with me a little, Captain.
Valkyrie?
I am on the phone. I'm sorry. Don't worry, Captain. I got the numbers. It'll be a plot convenient amount of time.
I will be to the bridge before then. Thank you.
Yep. Azek leaves the line on. Can you believe he wants to make the GM try to convert 1/2 impulse power to kilometers, then convert that to calichems? What am I? That's not even a calculator thing. That's a weird fan site that might exist.
It probably does exist.
It probably
Called
does.
algebra.
There's a warp speed calculator. I don't keep the formulas around. I have enough of a setup with the GM screen and everything, so you get what you get. But yes. We'll move things up to the bridge. Let's see here. Just go to ship sets and bridge. Okay. TTRPG, you arrive on the bridge. Anyone else who would like to be there may also attend.
Kressik's coming to the bridge.
I have a question to ask the captain.
Okay,
I
so
have to go there.
you will also be on the bridge.
I'm interested.
All right.
But I am going to stay in my engineering bay where I belong.
Aww.
In the hole.
What an obedient little puppy.
I'll eat you.
You will try.
I can't follow up with a good Star Wars reference here. So, Tabak, you arrive in the bridge. Cheshire, the logical place in the captain's chair. Azek has since moved to the helm. He is the lone operator at this point, now that you are down a navigator. Croker is filling in things, and, well, I could have sworn I saw Zionol here, but
nope.
he just seemed to melt into the wall.
Yep. Where is Croker at right now?
Croker's kind of, I imagine, it could have some sort of operations or maybe tactical function.
I'm going to go to the tactical.
Okay.
And if he's there, I'm going to remove him from the tactical area.
I think that it
kindly.
Yes. It would have been routed, I think, to one of these two consoles. Both, or at least one of which Woe was partial to using.
So which means that one of them is for big hands. So that's the one that I would use.
Yes.
Because I used one of my minor tweaks to switch out paranormal phenomena for starship weapon systems.
Very good.
Since we do not have a tactical officer, we will have to make do with me.
Yes. No. As others join you on the bridge, Tabak and Cheshire obliges to let you sit down, but takes a place at your lap and just sprawls out from there. You see on magnification.
Cheshire is typically on my shoulders.
Oh, Cheshire will climb up to your shoulders then.
Wraps around my neck, front legs, back legs dangling down either side.
Yes, that. So as Cheshire assumes her usual station when you are on the bridge, you see amidst the orange glow of the system's main star the blues and greens of Mektor.
It has been a long time since I have been home.
Captain, I have received clearance for landing.
Good. Did they provide coordinates?
Yes, I am relaying to Azek now. Yeah, that looks like set something out, but they have something set out by a looks like near the a settlement of some sort. I don't know. What's home like to you?
Good enough that you better not crash into it.
You're in good hands. As it gives you a mischievous smile back, that old those old eyes. I'd say they've he's alternated a bit between exhaustion with the recent events, but a bit of energy as he's taken to his new secondary role with a vigor. All right, taking her in. Switching over to thrusters for atmospheric descent. The yawn will fly on.
Carefully and gently.
All right, we're not in any rush, he says. So let's just take this nice and slow. You'll as you move through the atmosphere, Azek will give you the assurances. Descending steadily, standard pattern. There's a sudden buffet that sends all of you like just a little bit to the right. Oh, sorry about that. I might have momentarily disengaged the port stabilizer. Just testing.
We'd cut off a hand if he had one to spare.
Anybody paying attention to the captain notices that he is more tense than usual. And at that little joke is actually sort of chewing his own teeth.
Captain, will you be wanting to entertain your family when we land on the ship?
Are you insane? He's looking at you with all seriousness. Are you insane?
No. Well, I would assume they'd want to see your ship and your crew.
This is my world. I'm here to see my family.
Wait a minute, Azek says, turning from the helm just for a moment. You're saying, just to be clear, your world is in, this is the place that you live, or do you...
This is the seat of the House of Cord.
Oh, you actually, your house actually owns this one. Nice. It's a nice planet. Looks
I would prefer there to not be a giant crater in what's left of the spaceport.
He goes eyes forward. I read that. Let's see.
The captain is sitting in his command chair, sure in his shoulders, both feet planted on the deck in front of him, hands on knees, and every once in a while you can see that he just sort of drums his fingers on his kneecaps or like digs his nails into his legs and is just like stiff and not exactly. He is, to say he was tense would be an understatement.
Indeed. Well, as the well, first I'll ask anybody doing anything or wanting to interact with that, or shall we just head on down?
Did somebody say make a big crater in his home planet? I charge disruptors.
Come on,
No,
Kresik.
I don't.
Seriously?
I don't.
You go for torpedoes for the craters. Think it through.
Right. We're out of those, so you know.
There was a restock.
Oh, that's right, there was. I forgot.
Yep.
We actually managed to acquire those before the shopping expedition was rudely interrupted.
Yes.
By kidnappings and murder.
Yep. So, Tabak, as you nervously try to manage the tension, and as the rest of you do your very best to keep everything relatively sound, you break through the you close down enough through the atmosphere and break through a layer of clouds to begin an approach towards the main settlement, such that any telemetry would come up at your stations, or for anyone that looks out of a view screen. The horizon looks to be a verdant, a mostly verdant environment, extensive plateaus and like flatlands, teeming with wildlife, flora and fauna, various sorts.
Lots of mountains.
Yes. A lot of very low and rocky mountains. Some of them with tree coverage, others with much less. There are some areas that are balded, or like relatively bald of trees. When it comes to those mountains, there is in the view ahead of you the beginnings of a settlement that you can make out. I would say, would you let me ask, TTRPG, would you say the main location is one of a modest size, or how built up would you say that it was?
Most of the buildings are low, like nothing particularly tall, but it's easy to tell that a lot of it is not currently occupied.
So that'll probably be easier to discern once everybody's down on the planet.
Oh, well, it'd be easy to see as you're coming into the spaceport.
Yeah.
The boarded up windows, the collapse. Some of the buildings in the outskirts are collapsed. Some torn apart for pieces.
Yeah. There's
like the spaceport is in rough shape.
Yeah. There's definitely less clear landing pads, but it doesn't really matter much because all of them are open right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Isaac double checks his telemetry and says, I don't remember. Is it just... I guess, do the coordinates really matter that much, or can it just be any of them?
He leans over his shoulder and says, and points to one. That one.
Okay. Isaac will ease down the vessel thrusters, continuing to slow, and gives you a nice, gentle set down. I don't think we have a good exact artwork for this, so I am going to use a bit of a stand-in with that as we've set it up. We'll say that there is at least one large-ish building that kind of exists for it.
Oh yeah, that's fine. The house itself is a larger structure with lots of outbuildings.
Yes. So it depends on whether you want to play the manor as being directly in the city or...
yes, it is. It's right in the middle of the city.
Okay, then the big protruding building, that is the manor there. That answers that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yes. With that, the
landing goes smoothly, and TTRPG just gives a heavy sigh. Home. And he just turns and walks off the bridge.
All right, well, that's nice, Isaac says. All right, what's for dinner, Captain?
He's not there.
Well,
and Cheshire has left with him.
Well, let's make these people invisible. Yeah. Croker turns from his station and says, He didn't even say goodbye.
Because he's going to see his family. More important than you.
Croker just turns back to station. You vaguely hear him muttering under his breath. What does he see in her? Whoever she is. I'm jealous of a concept. Ah! And some light Betty. I'm not doing Betty.
Well, butter my biscuits.
Yes. Canonical alternate Betty. That and probably some encouraging words to Croker, trying to help him pick himself up and assure him that he just needs to like relax a bit. He needs to pick himself up, treat himself well, and, engage in appropriate self-care, then find a nice boy of his own. But anyway, yeah, TTRPG has left the on, which, sure enough, I'm sure as the vessel powers down, you would have been stuck here if not for Azek. I'm just going to assume at some point Azek said, don't worry, Cap, we won't leave without you.
No, you won't.
But anyway,
Yep. He's already at the elevator, pushing the button to go down.
Yep, so question is, who is going to try and use the ship once who's going to leave the ship once the elevator's free?
Well, I gotta get materials to fix up all the holes we made. Trying to fix the ship.
Indeed.
I'm gonna need replacement medical equipment.
Wait, I thought you had more.
Enough.
Redundancy.
There's a difference between having enough and having enough. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Better to have and not need
Okay.
than to need and not have.
All right. What about you, Traven? You're still good on ingredients. Do you want to look for more? Do you want to explore or channel your inner scientist and explore the wildlife? How do you want to play it?
I'm going to be exploring and looking for a cat because I was told there was cats to buy here.
All right. Then I will let you guys all break off. So, Captain, I know, of course, you have scenes that you would want to do, or you have things that you want to do on this planet. Traven, you have some exploration, which we can definitely allow for, definitely give you the opportunity to do something there. Kresik and Raldar, you guys are both obviously going into the main settlement for your own purposes.
Eventually.
Eventually.
Right now, the captain doesn't have a security officer.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. Maybe the captain needs an escort.
I have not told anyone because I just appeared on the bridge and took over the tactical station. But I have put it upon myself to fill that. If anybody wishes to try to interpose, they're more than welcome to.
Indeed.
But
we always have room for another supporting character.
we might be able to pick one up here. Who knows?
Yeah. Also, there is the matter of the Creel that's still in the, I don't know.
Yeah,
ship
I was
in the
wondering about
closet.
that, but Kresik doesn't really know about the Creel. He hasn't been told about the Creel, so...
Yep.
Oh, that's right. We have a prisoner.
Oh. Indeed. Traven, it occurs to you that one of the questions you were going to ask the captain was what to do about the prisoner, but then you realized, one, the captain just completely blew past you on that one, and two, when was the last time he's been fed?
Let's
Grab
go
my
check
cup,
out the prisoner.
drink it. Yeah, he's probably not dead, and just runs to check on him.
How often do the Creel need to be watered?
Do they require water?
Meanwhile, in the broom closet that you've shoved him in, just him with, like, moisture that is condensed near a vent and, like, a salt lick. Must keep going.
Your
Open it up.
interrogation, your
Yeah, he's
interrogation methods are horrid. Klingons is just like interrogation. Yes.
Is it working?
Oh. You haven't asked me any more questions. Yeah, you never did ask more questions. Anyway, yeah, I guess let's break this down. Well, let me first, I guess, finish the question there. Kresic, obviously without knowing about a prospective patient, is there anything else you would want to do either on the ship or on the planet? And if so, anything that you would want scenes for?
I'm just going to be with the captain unless he tells me not to be there
Copy that.
as security.
All right. Raldar, anything that you want to do either here on the ship or onto the planet?
I think I might need to do the prisoner thing sooner rather than later.
Fair enough. Well, I guess it would make the most sense for the purposes of order to let Raldar, to let you have that scene first, and to have Traven pop in for that as well, since it occurred to you to check on him. That'll allow for time in narrative for Kresic to catch up with the captain. So
Real quick, Mr. GM.
Yes.
As the captain, as Tabok gets out of the ship, and the field personnel come up to the ship, any of them that I recognize, I call by name, and say, this is my new ship, the Yan. It's a piece of shit, but we're going to make it better. My crew is on board. They are different. Treat them well. Treat them with deference. And then I start stomping off towards the residence.
Yep.
Tabok says hi to Timbok and Joe Bach.
Bob Bach?
Bob Bach.
Jim
All
Bob.
Bob.
And then there's the chip. Then there's the chicken farm, run by Bagak.
Yes. We cannot forget Bagak.
Well, this is all canon, everybody.
It's not really chickens. It's some sort of tiny little feathered raptor creature
With teeth.
with teeth.
Edge crunch.
But yes, the guy who runs that farm is Bagak.
Oh, dear.
I will take that as canon. I will live with that. That is too good to ignore.
Yes. Oh. So let's see then. Geez, I am just getting things loaded up here, making sure. No, that is a Klingon. I'm making sure that I have the correct tokens out here. Yeah, before we head out to the ship, or rather head out to the broader planet, let's go theater of the mind and find the converted section that you've been using for basically holding the prisoners. At this point, let's put this Creole gentleman here. You open the closet and you find the broad-shouldered, the lantern-jawed individual. His, I'm sure, like clasped with chains or whatever detention method you decided to use in this case. His spindly legs stretched out as he's probably seated on the floor. So nice of our captors to come back and pay me some mind.
Well,
Have you come to finish what you did to the rest of my people?
no, I wasn't the one who did that.
Could have fooled me.
Oh, don't worry. I have proof. You'll see it soon enough.
Oh, so it's to be torture with my execution. I can deal with that.
No, I just want to know who put out the hit on me. Who is paying for this bounty?
He shakes his head a little bit. You foolish, simple creature. You really don't understand our ways.
And enlighten me, then.
We, Creel, we are very much out here on our own. We don't know whether we can rely on anyone else, so we plan not to. And the Klingons, well, certainly that's more than definitely the case. You wear their armor. You seem quite convinced to be their pet, sitting where when they tell you to, and attacking when they tell you to. As vicious as any pack animal to do it, to boot. Oh, no. We must rely on our own strength, and when others come under attack, we must all respond.
So you're trying to kill me over some sense of community?
Think of it perhaps as honor for the fallen.
I can respect that. However, I'm going to enlighten you as to why I am not the one to blame. But I doubt that'll change any of your minds. Come along. I reach down to sort of grab on the trains to drag him out.
He wobbles up to his to a standing position. Not easy for the quirks of Creole physiology are that they are extremely top heavy. Like, they are very well built and muscular. The body shape is practically triangular, going from the shoulders down to the to their waist level, and their legs are extremely thin. So they, one good tackle and they are pretty easy to knock prone.
I see.
Yep. So it's definitely a bit of a struggle as you drag him by. You try to drag him by his what is definitely his center of mass, but it's partly a struggle for him to get up. It's also just a little slow, even with your superior strength. Nonetheless, you both find that equilibrium and drag yourselves along, or you drag him along, rather. Traven, amidst this, you see the engineer pulling the prisoner along, who is indeed walking and is still alive, so somebody must have fed and watered him appropriately.
I imagine it was Vopri.
You good, Raldar?
I'm fine.
Okay.
You
I'm gonna go
need
out.
something, Traven?
Yeah, I was gonna come feed him, but he looks fine. Do you need anything while we're out?
I have not.
No, I'll be out soon enough.
I have not eaten in 2 days.
Are you walking?
Somehow.
You'll be fine. I just walk away.
I don't know what manner of thing that he is, but he is as much a pet, if not more, of the Klingons than you. I would say that he's taken on a as cruel a demeanor, but then I know what you did to my people. Even if you say you didn't.
Oh, you will be educated on that regard. That was our Took.
He has no good comeback for that, so he's just going to follow, pondering this situation. Where do you take the Creel?
You know where we're going. We're going to the Dar room, right out.
You arrive outside of that door, key in the appropriate sequence. Say the door is open. Do you pull him in? How well lit do you have the room? Is this nap time for Dar, or do you?
Yeah, I mean, it's midday, so the lights are probably on.
Okay.
You see, Creel, what you're about to see is technically me.
He peeks in. Is like, I see nothing through the doorway.
Junior!
You are, yeah, standing. You realize you look through. You're standing outside the doorway. You look to the opposite end of the room where he is usually congregated. He is not there.
Oh,
Where is he?
Well, what do you do next?
Clearly we need to go in
Okay.
and look around.
Are you going in on your own? Are you pulling him in? Are you sending him in first?
Oh, I'm pulling him in with me.
Okay, but taking the lead.
Yeah.
Okay. Give me a daring plus security roll.
I see.
There
I
it
see.
is.
Oh boy. Daring plus security.
Clever girl.
Hazard awareness?
Yes.
Alright.
Probably just a bear hug.
Oh no.
Oh dear. Let's see. So that will be against Dar. I think melee combat applies. At the very least, tracking would. Yep, that's 2 successes. I'm going to take that as threat. As suddenly you find yourself, rush in looking for him, and no sooner do you do that than do you feel the sudden pounce of, just the thick wall of reptilian muscle that is your mutated clone as he tackles you from the side, and he's lifted you slightly, such that he didn't bonk you into the ceiling, hunched down as you probably are, but he is kind of dragging it across to where your head scales are feeling it a little bit. You yank you yank on the chain and pull in the creel, who just gives a horrified, "Whoa! What monstrous thing is this?" And as you are now, I think appropriately the representation here would be, let's see, put you up here, and Dar right here.
do we need the Star Trek fight music?
Too easy. Soft scale.
Hey, it's rubbing off. Let's go. Reading him
Krezk
stories.
teaching
It's
you
working.
Words again.
Grabba, cool. He says, glancing over to the creel.
This, my prisoner, is my son.
What manner of beast are you? What kind of monster? How?
I was. Well, he's technically my clone. Well, he is my clone. From a, incident when I was kidnapped. Do you really think I alone could take an entire station of Creel?
Do you demonstrate some physical capability? The sensors were enough of a genetic match. Could anything like this exist? Whose demented mind would put something to such monstrous nature? Remark.
Carter's a lot smarter than I gave him credit for.
It's learning fast. The lessons are working.
Clever girl. And what is he saying? I can't understand any of his gibberish.
He's still learning how to talk. He speaks better now.
Dar looks over the Creole, tongue kind of flicking out a little bit. He will let you go, Raldar. And, let's see. I'm going to have him roll one more task here, just to see whether... Okay, yeah. He's going to look and just say, pray.
Yeah. Learn the scent well of the Creel, Da. Because they seek to destroy both of us.
He starts taking steps over towards the Creel.
I know no amount of convincing will get you to stop hunting us, Creel. And I'm not in a position to even let you go. So Dar, well, he's gonna get really good at hunting you.
Oh, let's see. The Creel staring into this certain doom must now, I think, roll basically a sort of whether he can retain presence of mind sort of roll. So let's see whether he does that here. I'll give him security for this one. Oh, if this is to be my end, then so be it. He tries to, like, as much freedom as the chains will give him. If I could even just take this monster, and then perhaps, just maybe my people will be at peace. But what I do for them. Do your worst.
May you have an honorable death.
And the Creel man just screams as Dar begins to close the distance. Are you going to allow for are we going to take the gory discretionary shot here, or are you doing anything more to intervene, Raldar?
No. This is the camera pans away. There's blood. Blood and streams.
Oh my. Well, I will tell you what. I think that I'm going to roll the dice real quick. Actually,
the camera just pans away from up into Raldar's face, and you hear the screaming and the crunching, and Raldar's going, oh, that was interesting.
I will tell you guys what. The GM is in desperate need of some hydration here, so what we might do.
Hydrate.
I will go ahead and set us to an intermission here, and I'll do a roll between now and then, and we'll come back in like 5 minutes and get things started. So if anybody needs a bio break, then go right ahead. We'll get to that, and yeah, let's just play it that way. So
I do need to make use of that.
Let me move us to a screen. Let's see.
Sorry.
All good.
It's been a long road.
No.
Getting from there.
No,
to
I will
here.
give the GM threat. No.
It's not even Saturday. Let's see here.
Bad Kresic. No,
But
don't.
my time is finally near.
And I don't have the range to... I don't have the range to pull it off here. And my throat is so dry. Let's see. Okay. So,
But you're not going to try to sing.
No, that's also a thing that only happened in Aegis. I was doing my best Michigan P frog.
Wait, hold up. When's our musical episode?
No, we're not, no, that's not happening.
Hold up.
No,
Hold up.
that is
Gonna put it
not
in the chat right now.
No, 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 no. You evil man, you. No.
Let's see here. Come on. Alright.
I'm gonna get my drink before
Yeah,
before I try to kill Kresic. Right
Yep,
back.
and we will be right back. Okay, so we are back. Some of the crew have had time to get their water nice and angry, whilst others have just been gulping what they have. That's the GM. Just as a reminder, if you want the GM to drink water, then and otherwise execute self-care, you can expend Quatlus to do that. And if you're not currently in the game, you can spend it to do other interesting things as well, like points of momentum, threat, affecting difficulties of rolls, narrative advantages. You can even have an NPC voice lines here. All that's at the top, and maybe I'll set up an...
Bold to assume the viewers will spend them for your self-care and not to make us suffer.
Of course.
Well, hold on. How many Quatlus for jumping jacks?
I have no such thing. I was considering the hamster wheel edition, but that was I don't fit on Albus's wheel. My good chinchilla boy. Anyway.
Make you a bigger one.
Or a shrink ray?
It would be easier to make a giant hamster wheel than it would be to make a shrink ray.
Are you a scientist?
Actually,
In any case, let us get back to the game. So, we start our scene with Tabak wandering from the spaceport towards the main fortress.
There's very little wandering.
Yes. You had the opportunity to instruct the station workers. Probably some of the few regular, wage-earning people on the planet, those who are not of the Savan in direct service. Well, they're probably hired.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Sorry.
Definitely hired, but some intermediate step, I would imagine. They aren't quite that same group, but nonetheless very loyal. You've given them the chance to start working on the ship, resupplying it as best they can, and otherwise helping out. And you alerted them to your crew. That was helpful because they did not engage in a state of alarm or, more likely, confrontation as someone followed you from the ship, allowing his strides to lengthen, and, Doctor, this being one of the times where, not being on the ship, you can afford to extend a full height, with your...
My back.
Yes. With a great crack, you feel a great deal more, that much more like yourself, and with lengthened strides, you are able to catch up to the captain. Yes, you notice, Tabak, you are not alone as you approach the city.
Sure. What are you doing?
Your bodyguard is dead. Your chief of security is missing.
If there's anywhere in this universe where I do not require a bodyguard, it is on my own world.
When was the last time you were here?
2 years ago.
And you are certain nothing has changed in those 2 years.
Oh, I'm sure something has changed. My wife should have given birth while I was gone. Tabak hasn't slowed down either.
Yep.
No, and
Yep. As
Betsy's hobbling to keep up with his gimpy leg.
Yep. Your lengthened strides.
Thankfully, the length of strides is making up for it. But
Yeah, it is definitely a bit of a drag, and Tabak is quite insistent.
And just to note too, the gravity is is slightly higher than Earth standard. Like it's like higher than 1G.
Closer to Klingon gravity, then probably.
I don't think Klingon gravity is much higher than Earth's. I think
I've just always imagined that it was.
Well, it's just more it's a lot more humid. But I don't know about more gravity. But this world is also cold. This is it's like maybe for American people, it's like 60 degrees out.
60 freedom units. Okay.
Yeah. So it's nippy, but the air is not dry.
Okay. So we're still good. We're still in business.
Yeah. So it's like 1.1 G.
How nice!
Gotcha.
How nice it would be to be out in 60-degree weather right now.
But it is outside right now for me.
Must be nice.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
I live in Florida. We don't participate in this winter crap.
It actually got hot this week.
Yeah, it's going to be 90 in a couple of days.
Damn.
That's not so nice.
Rip to you.
Yeah. Well, at least I don't have to pay for heat. Anyway, let's see. So yeah.
Anyway, so you say your wife should have given birth by now?
Yes.
Then someone should ensure the health of the baby.
I trust my family's doctors.
Tabak, as the two of you enter the settlement, let me ask: would signage clearly mark things, or?
Yeah, I mean, street names. There'd be signs for street names. Every business would have its little shingle out front.
Yeah,
I'm sure I can smell all the the baked goods baking and the dead thing on a stick frying over charcoal.
Yes.
Bagok's cul-de-sac.
Yeah, that too.
Over there. With Bagok's fried turducken.
Any of the shops that have cured meats or whatever, usually it's just a cured animal. None of this stuff is going to be familiar at all. None of this looks like typical Klingon fare.
Yes. Though I will say, Kresic, I'll actually ask you to give me an insight, and I would call this, I guess, if you would like to make it security, then you could do that. Or command would also apply.
I would love to make it security because insight is my lowest stat. And security would be higher.
Very good.
To pair up with it. No focuses? Any focuses?
I do not believe
Don't think so, right?
Apply. Nope. Okay. So, let's see. Let me minimize this thing here. Okay, so that is one success. I'll say that gives you a sort of basic line. You are trying to get yourself in the mindset of being protective, even if the captain does not believe that you need to be that way. And to that end, Kresic, you are pretty openly, or at least you are moving your head slightly about, your eye shields covering the exact scanning that you're doing, or as you assess the street line. Near as you can tell, it's a pretty sleepy would be a generous phrase for it. Dilapidated might be more accurate, but also slightly more cruel. So you let your brain try to find a happy medium as you look through the lines of streets and shops. There are a number of places that are open, as the captain described, but there are pretty sizable numbers of places that appear to be closed down. I would presume that there is some variation on boarding things up, or maybe that there are like metallic gates of sorts, locks of varying kinds, whatever is culturally appropriate for the area. There are more than a few of those places that seem to be down, and even the vendors that are trying to hawk their wares seem to only have a small handful of people to send things to.
I look around, then I just say, it is nicer than Gotakor.
Seen cesspits that are nicer than there.
That was... Never mind.
Yes, this is home. Such as it is.
And you are its king?
King? We don't even have an emperor anymore. No. I am the leader of my house. This world is my house's property.
I see. So like a king.
No. Many of these people that you see around us, they are retainers. They are the working classes. I can give them commands, but anything that they do for me, they are paid for. I don't rule. I run and protect.
He doesn't have anything else to say, unless he's not convinced. He's pretty sure that's what kings do too. At least that's what they're supposed to do. But hey, he doesn't want to call himself a king. He's not going to stop him.
So yeah, on the walk, any of the shopkeepers or retainers that I see whose names I remember, again, I greet everyone as we proceed to.
If I see any little children, I wave at them.
And yeah,
Because I do love waving at children.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure some of them scream in terror.
They, if any,
Mommy, there's a dragon!
Yeah, I'd say it's more of wonderment and perhaps the natural response to bravery of trying to put on a brave face, or as much as they can. Some kids probably do scatter to the merciless taunting of their peers. Others with parents nearby provide encouragement. There is something, while this is by no means a small city, at least in terms of its size, there would be the sort of sentiment that you might expect to see on a smaller colony or a town of that sort, at least within some of the quarters that you're going through.
The city has seen better times.
Certainly. As much as you can see that there are signs, Kresic, of the of the age of this colony, of the the grandeur that might have once come to it, and efforts to maintain it, such as they are. This place has degraded a bit, or it is not quite as... the efforts to maintain it have not quite been equal to the task. There is also the issue of... there are some pieces of equipment that seem a bit outdated here. I'd say some older, bulkier bits of tech about that look as though they have been jury-rigged in some manner in order to keep things going. I would also say of the colony, the entire populace appears to be juHDaq, much like the captain.
Gotcha. Kresik's not a...
There's a couple
go ahead,
who
please.
aren't.
Yeah. Kresik's not a politician, but he has seen an empire that struggled to keep itself together before the military took over. So there's definitely some concern that this place is, in his mind, ripe for a coup against their king. But everyone seems nice enough. Your subjects seem nice. They have not tried to stab me or shoot me yet.
You walk with me, and I'm sure the news of my eclectic crew has made its way into the city proper fairly quickly.
As you near the manor, the two of you do take note of
The increasing number of cats?
Yes. I was going to say, in particular, Kresik, like you may notice some stretched out on different places through the town, but I would say as you approach the particularly large building, you take note, coming through the gate, there would be at least a couple of people in like vague like militia type wear, or like I'd say something that vaguely resembles the traditional imperial outfit, maybe with some slight adornments to reflect the or like the status of the house or the uniqueness of the house forces. But also before you see on the path up to the main manor, or the steps going up there, you see a very small resident.
More emotional support pets. Support creatures. They're healthy.
They are all
Good
very
for
healthy.
crews. More people should have them. Keeps them stable.
It is my family's current major export.
As you
Good.
pass
by, the retainers here serving as guards tap their fist to their chests. Chakwi.
I return the salute.
It's good to see you, one of them says, beneath what I'll say an older looking Klingon. Let's call him Latech. A slightly more grizzled juHDaq.
Old man, how are you? It has been far too long.
Yes.
And the old man is like a running gag between the two of them because he's not that much older than Tabon.
Yes. I dare say you're closing the gap on the lines on your face. So,
I've had much to worry about.
Certainly. He minds he minds the kitten that is on the grounds before you and scoops it up.
What news from the Citadel? Am I to be surprised when I get there?
I think that is best left said by the lady of the house. She waits for you there, Chuckly.
It is good to see you again.
Yes. Holding the kitten in one hand, he says, "Would you like me to mind this one, or would you prefer to take it back with you?"
As it was.
Yes, Chuckly. And he'll just let it lie back down. On what you realize on this nippy day was one of the areas that the sun is pretty actively warming, so it just stretches itself out and looks up at you as you pass TTRPG, and to Kresic as well. You're getting some eyes with the guards. More puzzled looks, but they let you pass by.
Puzzled? Okay.
With regard to Kresic, not you, TTRPG.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, that's
with the fact that you have a big lizard walking with you, you know.
that's sort of to be expected at this point. that really is to be expected. If they weren't looking askance at me and the gigantic Gorn walking next to me, I would worry that they are not doing their job.
Yep.
So yeah.
So you make your way further up, and you take the steps up to the opening door, to the doors of the Great Manor, the tower and citadel, stretching out high ahead of you. It's easily one of the tallest buildings here in Takur's fort. As you move to open your way, open the door, you find that the doors have already parted their way, and from them steps a Klingon woman, one in what for you, TTRPG, would be very easily a blood coloring to her dress, like very close shades of that sort, that very particular sort of pink. The hard look and braids bundled together thickly. Another Koha, of course, as with so many others on the planet. She approaches. She gazes out, and seeing you approach, also with the lizard, steps out. It's been some time since you have deigned to return to this fortress.
This is my wife, right?
It is.
Yeah. I have had much work to do, wife.
Yes, husband. And I am no doubt grateful for that. But I am very curious. What is it that you have brought into our home?
Please think no less of me, my wife. This is one of my crew.
She just barely casts her eyes to the side and glances in your direction. You saw fit to bring one, at least. I presume this is the most respectable among the bunch.
He is the doctor. And we accord him the honor he is due.
If you have served well, then doctor, she says to you, Kresik. To perform your labor...
I have... Oh, go ahead, sorry.
To perform your labor well is to do yourself honor. And as my husband recognizes it, so too shall I acknowledge it. I am Morathi.
May we enter my home, good wife.
She nods and gestures for you to approach.
I do so.
Before you do cross, she stops you and winds up catching you in an embrace.
Returned wholeheartedly, picking her up off the ground, twirling her, and laughing.
Yep.
It is very good to be home.
Yes. The sense of ceremony drops as she replies something just as eager. And Kresik, you, I'd say, see like a certain lack of restraint or a certain openness between on the captain's face that hasn't been there before. That nothing on the ship or in any mission you've been alongside him has given you cause to do. Or rather for him.
But I recognize it.
Most certainly.
I politely make sure that I am not staring at them as this is happening, because that would be rude.
And as the laughter dies down, she says, "It is very good to have you back, Tabok. There's matters that we shall need to tend to, and perhaps they can wait."
I know. How is the child?
The one is resting comfortably enough upstairs. The other... let us just say there are other matters that need tending to.
Mr. GM, remember she was pregnant when I left.
Yes. That one is resting upstairs.
Ah, okay.
Yes. But anyway, as while all that's going on, I'm going to say, let's cut away for a moment because I would like to get in one more scene, I'd like to close out elsewhere. So let's take it. Memory serves, so we did have quite a few decent forests outside, or outside the settlement. So let's see. Let's use this here. Traven, it did not take you long to depart from the vessel yourself once it was clear that your prisoner seemed to be okay, such that Raldar thought that he was going to be in good enough shape. It might have occurred to you, of course, that maybe he was making sure that there wouldn't be the mouth to feed. Honestly, it's kind of the furthest thing away from your mind now as you enter out into the forest.
Wait, who just went into the forest?
That would be Traven. He was going to go... He is going out into the forest on his own, because...
He's not supposed to die again so soon.
Oh, I'm...
On his own? He's gonna be ripped apart by Targs.
Sorry, I couldn't help.
Quite all right. Let's see. So... I've momentarily lost my place here. Traven, tell me, how would you say you are equipped out here? What did you bring with you?
So, I of course brought my disruptor pistol because, yeah. I don't really have anything else. Probably some containers to grab the local fauna with.
Fair enough, fair enough.
Is
Ba-
there an available like scanner I could use
Certainly,
or something of the sort?
you could carry a scanner and communication device as part of your standard equipment.
That'll be perfect. I don't want to go too far deep into the forest. I'm mostly just doing outskirts, and if there's like an open plains, I'll walk there and look at like the bugs, the wildlife, the fauna, all that jazz.
Okay, well, you find you find that traveling basically along the perimeter of one of the major forests, kind of something where there is there's decent dense sort of dense sort of cover in the area. Um, it's easy enough to traverse. You see some clearings in sight. I will, for our purposes, I will have you in a forested scene here. Let me just put you in the.
And it is cold.
Yes. This is probably the chilliest place that you have been in some time. Um, as your previous the previous world you've been living, Gleden 2, was a tad more on the tropical end, or it was at least more routinely warm during the seasons. The ship, of course, was kept quite warm, and even Zethlor was kept kept at a pretty decent temperature at the settlement. So, um, this is definitely it's a very brisk walk that you are taking as you move along the clearings and near the forested areas. Let's see. Traven, as you search around, you catch sight in the distance of different, flying creatures. You hear what you would guess to be different bird calls. If you want to try to run any sort of analysis here, I would give you a reason plus science roll. This would be at a difficulty of 2. At least to get momentum for it.
Bam.
Well, you run a quick sensor scan, and you can tell that there's a decent amount of diverse flora and fauna. It appears as though most of the life is indigenous to the planet. If there were anything that Klingons had introduced to this world from colonizing, they don't seem to be well established, at least in the region. So there are their own sort of flavor of different sort of animal life in the area. It seems mostly to be various types of birds, insects, and some reptilian life signs. Most of it seeming to be quite small, but it's hard to tease out individual wildlife. It seems that with the relatively cool weather, there are there are some concentrations of life forms, but not maybe the beginnings of less activity in some. But yeah, still fairly dynamic. I will say that as you look out on the area, you see near the tree line the glint of something like just dazzling and violet flying around. Shiny sample.
How far away is it?
I would put it at... hard to articulate an exact distance here. It's enough that, like, you can... you're close enough to mostly make out the contours. You could tell that this is, like, a... It looks like an insect, but is, from the distance you're at, you would guess it's at the side of an average pigeon, basically.
I'm gonna try and walk up to it slowly.
Okay. You approach it closer and closer, steadily trying to gain a bit of ground on it, trying to get a closer look at the thing. And it does articulate itself a bit more as it moves about. It stays, like, when it does take to the air, it remains low flying, steadily moving deeper and deeper into the forest with each, little jaunt. It seems to be trying to probe the each individual tree for something of the sort. It's hard to tell exactly what it's going for.
I'm gonna wait for it to make a call or a noise of some sort, and I'm gonna try and mimic it to see if I can get its attention.
Let's see here. I'll ask for one more roll. Let's call this an insight plus science. And, just this time, I'm going to say, let's call it a... Well, let's call that, once again, a difficulty 2 situation. But I'm going to spend some threat on this one. So let's call it 3 points of threat to increase your complication range to 3.
I'm gonna
He's gonna die.
I'm gonna use my join talent ability. And I'm gonna grab one of the focuses from... Sorry, where's my bio? There it is. I'm gonna grab a focus from Tebo for hunting focus.
Gotcha. So, pulling the old warrior poet's bag of tricks, you think of the best way to mimic the call. You may not necessarily be looking to catch this grub for the purpose of grub, but you find the possibility of attracting this sample is very enticing. At a certain point, it does emit a... okay, that is one success there. Oh, and that is also a 19 on the die, which means that is a complication because of the threat spend there. Which you did not spend for, but just so the audience sees... it should be a 19. Show them. Okay. There we go. There, you should...
How much is it to re-roll a d20?
Well, that would require a talent in order to do so, or I guess you could expend determination if you wanted, if you had an applicable value. I'll say that a complication is more funny if you're willing to give it the chance.
You say funny, but I feel like it's more deadly.
Nah, he wouldn't do that. Not to you.
Yeah.
You've already died twice. You can't die
Hey.
a third time.
To every GM, putting their players into mortal peril, or their characters into mortal peril, is always funny.
All right, I'll take the complication.
He kind of deserves it.
I was staying on the outskirts. I was being safe.
Walking
Pretty
into
bird.
the woods of a planet you've never been on before.
You think that you have a good sound, a good idea of a sort of buzzing sound that it emits. Something that you could roughly almost simulate. Something almost like it's probably honestly something where you manipulate the communicator to create the equivalent of like a duck call type situation, only for this insect. When you set it up, though, you have the volume up a bit higher. It buzzes and it like suddenly flies upwards with that. So you're thinking initially that you were a little too strong with that. As you glance down at your communicator, you find suddenly that a glowing set of eyes emerge from the underbrush, and a tall reptilian head begins to snake its way up, attracted to the sound. It's right on top of you, or like right in front of you.
And how big is it?
As it extends up, I would put it at just about 6.5 feet. So not the biggest reptile you've seen. Not the biggest one to do you an injury either. Nor is it quite as thick, but I would say that it's roughly serpent-like, and it just immediately goes into grapple. So, yeah, or it's going to lunge out, and I'm going to say, instead of like going in to try and hold on to you, it is going to just like aim straight for your midsection and try to lance right into you. So give me a daring plus security roll. Okay, that is a 1 success.
Can he re-roll the 0 with momentum?
Momentum does not allow for re-rolls. That is a that's
Yeah,
just for buying
I was trying.
additional dice.
I was trying.
Oh no.
Determination.
Well, so you find, Traven, that this thing apparently has something of a hardened snout and possibly like almost a horn type setup. It's a really interesting thought as this thing just slams right into your gut and like knocks it, like seems to try to knock you prone here. Let's call this let's see. Call it the ram there, and that should have the knockdown. So all right, so that is going for that. That will hit you for 2 points. That does mean that the effect goes in, so you are knocked down, you are prone, you lose the communicator in the process, and this thing is starting to slither up to you, and it begins to make its approach. Before you have a moment to do anything else, let's see, that would be 2 against quick roll here. Before it has a chance to do anything about that or like investigate its quarry further, it is going to take the it is going to be driven back as a blade hacks along that. By the glint and shape of the blade, you would guess a mechleth. And
I look around.
Yep. Having seemingly come out of nowhere and maneuvering through the trees, and for some reason the token is not wanting to function. Oh boy. We're right near the end, so we're going to do this a little quick and dirty. I'm just going to go for the portrait here. Please, portrait. There we go.
Making friends.
Yeah. You are greeted by a young woman standing probably just a little, a bit shorter than you, but seemingly, very well honed in her technique as she swings the blade one more time, driving back the serpent. Against the glint of the well-polished mek'leth, she turns it back to you as it decides to flee. Not the smartest one around, are you?
I like to think I can be pretty smart.
Oh, I don't know, the Hemhoch says. From the looks of things, you about triggered an ambush there, and you were about to die most foolishly. I hope that's something you're not in the habit of. And with that,
You'd be surprised at how much I'm in the habit of it.
And with Traven's elegant foot in mouth technique, we will go ahead and cut off today's session. So, for those in the recording, this is where we leave you off. We will be back possibly next week in order to get things worked out. If something comes up, we will keep you posted. But until then, just keep up on the social media and such. But we'll see you later.